you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Moses Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest season that makes official. Welcome to the big show for 16 years, 2,600 episodes. We bring in the Chris Voss Show because, we had, the judge said we had to do community service. So they were like, you want to go to jail or you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, how bad is it in jail? No, I'm just kidding. We love you guys, and we're glad you guys always watch the shows. Please refer to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikTok, all those crazy places. You know where they're at. Today we have the returning gentlemen on the show. We've had them on multiple times. They write the wonderful series there for Tom Clancy. They are the authors of their own series too as well, and the latest one comes out called The Adversary, part of the Tier 1 Thrillers package, out November 4th, 2025. We have Brian Williams.
I've been promoted to NBC host.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brian Williams. Just don't tell stories of your Iraq experience.
That's a demotion, my friend.
Yeah, demotion.
I've been demoted.
But I mean, at least he used to be a good-looking dude who used to get the chicks, I think. I don't know. Brian Andrews and Jeffrey Wilson are on the show with us today, and Chris is clearly having a seizure of some type, so we'll get to that later. Because we have a show to do. Also, their other book that they have coming out called First Ranger, short story. It's on Kindle, audiobook, and audio CD, I should say. And it's a series of short stories, so we're getting into that. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Great, man. Always good to see you, Chris.
It's good to see you guys, too, when I'm not having a seizure. Not having a stroke. So thanks, guys, for coming to the show. Give us any .coms. Where do you want to have people look you up on the interwebs?
That is an easy one. Andrews-Wilson.com. There's no Brian Williams in there anywhere. No NBC. It's just Andrews-Wilson.com.
You know what's funny is I saw the Wilson and I was thinking the Beach Boys. I blended your last name with his first name.
He does sing. Jeff he's quite a vocal.
Can you sing that? Wouldn't it be nice? Anyway.
That's right.
So, guys, you got this thing going on now. Is this book included? This new book, The Adversary, is that part of the new imprint deal you've got with Blackstone Publishing?
Yeah, I mean, basically the imprint is AWE, Andrews and Wilson Entertainment, and it's going to be the storehouse for all thrillers at Blackstone that sort of share that same ethos. Oh yeah, there's the logo, our new AWE logo. So It won't be just our books, because that's the definition of a vanity press. It won't be just our books. It's going to be all the books that fit into that team and mission before self ethos. We have a lot of fellow military veterans like Don Bentley and Josh Hood and guys like that are going to be joining us over there and writing with us. But of course, all of our stuff will, by definition, fall under the imprint. So yeah, The Adversary is the 9th book in the Tier 1 series, and so it falls in the AWE imprint. It's one of the first books in the imprint. So
nice. Do you want to give us a quick overview of all of your stuff, and then we'll drill into the book, because you guys have a lot of these. Storylines and book lines that you.
No, thanks for asking. So like you said in the opening, we do write the Jack Ryan series for Tom Clancy. We did 3 books there, and I think we're calling it quits after 3, which we talked about on the last show. But such an honor to write those Jack Ryans. But in addition to that, we have our original stuff, the Andrews and Wilson series. So the first one was Tier 1. And that started, like you said, we're on book 9 now. And book 10 comes out in July, called Insurgent.
Wow.
And that's sort of our tentpole series and where most people find us. We have a spin-off series called Sons of Valor, 4 books in that series, which has crossovers between the Tier 1 characters and the Sons of Valor characters. And we also have another really fun series called The Shepherds, 4 books in that series, which has got some speculative elements, some faith elements, And it's sort of like, I don't know, what would you say, Jeff? Like Stranger Things meets,
meets The Chosen. I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's a weird it's a weird matchup, right? Because it's when you tell people, yeah, we have the Shepherds, it's this tier 1 operator kick-ass Christian series. They're like, wait, what?
What?
So yeah, it's the kind of action that Andrews and Wilson are known for. It's high stakes, violent military action, but in the setting of spiritual warfare and a faith message. So it's one of our favorite series because it's cool to blend those things together. To me, that's a very natural blend, right? Like everybody, no matter where you end up, ask questions about the universe and their existence and God and what they believe about it. To not put that in your writing seems a little fake. So this series delves into that pretty hard, and it's one that we've had a lot of fun with. And it's also been optioned for television, so we're excited about that. So yeah, those are the big series, and a couple of standalones. We've got The Sandbox, which is one of my favorite novels we've written. We've got 4 Minutes, which is likely to become its own series. That came out last year, the first book, and we got the second book in that. Sort of in the queue, waiting to see what happens with the feature film that we're developing from that book. So we got a lot going on, man. It's busy. Yeah. My wife is happy and also misses me.
Ah, but she wants you to stay working there. She doesn't want
probably. Yeah, if she had to choose between the two.
I mean, there's only so much cleaning you could do at home.
That's right. That's right. If you had to choose between poor Jeff, more attention, and not so poor Jeff, I don't know. We should ask her. Let's have her on the show.
Let's have her on the show and just find out. As long as she gets the check and gets to do whatever she wants, then she's good.
But if we have them on, Jeff, then they're like, "Wait, this is what you guys do for a living?"
What you sit around talking to
I thought you said these things were really important. That
you said you were working.
Who said you were working? You're just talking to people on the internet,
screwing around with some dude who's just like you.
Yeah. See, yeah. So let's get into it with the Adversary, the book 9 of 10, and what's inside this new book, and tell us about some of the characters too, if you guys would.
I think we were really excited about book 9. When you start a series, you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. I mean, you map out the first couple books. At least in our case, we mapped out sort of the first 3, but then you're not thinking about book 9 when you're writing book 1, right? And so you start these relationships with characters, and they have families and friendships, and over time they evolve, and unexpected things happen, and sometimes tragic things happen, especially like in the world of operators and special forces. And so, our protagonist, John Dempsey, and this isn't a spoiler because it happens in the first book of the series, he has to make this very difficult decision to essentially, walk away from his family in order to protect them from the bad guys. And so in an effort to keep them safe and maintain some normality in the life of his son and his wife, he disappears into the deep, dark world of task force operations. But he's always, he still loves them, and he's always thinking about them. And his son follows in Dad's footsteps and becomes a Navy SEAL. And so one of the things that we did over the last 8 books was, Jake is curious about his dad's life at the Tier 1 and what that was and some of the secrets. And he starts to question, is my dad really dead? Because his friend has a conspiracy theory. And so, but in the back of his mind, he believes that he saw his dad, buried in Arlington, and so he must be dead.
Oh, wow.
But in this book, we have a big reunion between father and son.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and the fans have been waiting for it for 9 years. So
wow. They at least for 3 books they've been saying, when are we going to see the? Yeah, and so
when are we going to see the reunion?
A little bit of a spoiler there, but I think not an unexpected. I don't think we're spoiling anything. I think everyone's buying this book knowing that this is going to be it. We sort of set it up in book 8 that the tension was at a breaking point. And so what that looks like, and imagine how you would feel if you found out your dad had lied to you about being dead, and you buried him and grieved for him for years and years and years. And then he says, nah, just kidding. I was out here doing all this work all the time. Hey, give me a hug, buddy. Right? Like, what, how's that going to go? And so,
I would do. I would dress up as a zombie. I would dress up as a zombie. and come back from the dead.
Yeah,
Grab me a hug about her.
we couldn't quite work that into the story arc with the geopolitics. But
you guys need like a Call of Duty zombie arm.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. Anything you want to throw in, Brian, on the story?
Well, I mean, I think that this, and so far, the book's been out now about a month. It's our highest rated book of all time. Wow. And so, the fans have really, really embraced the story, and that makes us feel good too, because, you never know how those things are going to go. You don't know how if we're just excited about something and it's not going to resonate. Well, it really resonated. And so, if you're working your way through the series, hurry up and get to book 9, because you're gonna love what happens.
Well, folks, get on the Amazon there with your credit card and just load it on up.
I mean, it's Christmas. It's a time to give.
Yeah. Give the books away. Buy a set for friends and relatives.
I meant give us another royalty, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can binge it on Audible. I feel like our books are very bingeable, because the story continues through all 9 books. Yes, there's unique missions and operations in each story, but it's not like you're starting over from scratch with every single book. And it has a very Netflix feel, don't you think, Jeff? Like the way.
Yeah, I think it does, and I think the people that discovered us through the Clancy will see that same idea. Jack Ryan and then the characters that we introduce into that series, Katie and Kyle, they arc out over all the books, of course, because they're the central protagonists. Mm-hmm. But there's a new geopolitical challenge in each book. One thing we do a little differently in our Tier 1 book and in Sons of Valor as well is we do tend to arc the antagonist stories over more than one book, which is something we didn't do in the Ryan books, just because that's not what Clancy does. So in this book, for example, you are seeing sort of the culmination of some other things that happened in book 8. Just like we did in the first books. Our first 3 books, they're not officially called this, but we thought of them as the Persian trilogy, because Vivek in Iran was the central antagonist and this main character. And in real life, you don't just have, a couple weeks and at the end all the bad guys are dead and you go and have a barbecue. In real life, as you well know, Chris, sometimes you just work your way up that food chain, and you had a successful deployment that got you closer to the real bad guy that you're trying to get. And we try to reflect that in the books. So there's some of that in this book too. Some of the things that were left unanswered in book 8 will move forward in this book as well. So the geopolitical tension and violence of action is all there as well, with the backdrop of this drama between Dempsey and his son. So
real bad guys are pretty darn good at insulating themselves from danger.
Right.
They tend to stick around a long time.
Yeah, evil people last forever. That's why I try not to be a good person. I was going to say that faking your death thing is pretty good. I fake my death to get away from my teenagers, so I don't feel guilty at all. I'm never coming back.
Maybe you were the role model for
maybe I was. You guys stole the plot from my life.
Yeah, we stole your plot line.
Yeah. First, I sent them to military school when they were 2. So it helps if they can't see you. And then I've got plastic surgery too, as well. So teenagers, you know what that's like. So tell us, give us a little bit about your background. Where do you guys get this experience and knowledge, know this military stuff? Tell us about both of your bios. I'll each take a shot at that.
Yeah, so we met as writers, but we're both Navy veterans. A lot of people think mistakenly that we knew each other in the Navy. We didn't. We were in different communities, but also at different times. So my story is a little bit convoluted. I was in the military, and then I was out of the military, and then I was working in another part of the federal government for a few years that was violent and not like on TV. And I said, you know what, maybe I'm going to go live a life of peace now. So I went to medical school, became a surgeon, was a Navy reservist because I always had that pull to serve still. So I was like, I'm going to be an academic doctor and I'm going to do weekend warrior stuff. I'll feel like I'm serving my country and I'll still do this other thing. And then 9/11 happened when I was in fellowship training, and it just really, really pissed me off, like everyone, like a not unique story. But I went to my detailer and said, look, man, I want to go back on active duty. And he was like, yeah, I'll get you mobilized. I was like, no, bro, you don't understand. I had a regular commission. I don't want to be a mobilized reservist. I want to go back on active duty. So as you can imagine, after 9/11, being a surgeon with some other world combat experience, it was not difficult to convince them that I should be back on active duty. So I went on active duty and deployed as a first team surgeon with the Marines as soon as I reported. And during that deployment, I ran into some folks from my spooky past, and they were like, you'd be perfect for. And so I wound up getting recruited and screened into the JSOC SEAL team. And so I spent the rest of my Navy career doing that, and then sort of left that to do the weird joint interagency task force kind of stuff. I did that for a few years. So that's sort of my weird, convoluted journey. Mine's a little harder to follow than Brian's, I think. Mine sounds more made up. I know that. I am a good writer.
And what's cool about all the things you did, though, is you got to interface with so many different communities. I mean, you did a stint on a carrier, you did stints with the Marines, you did stints with special operations. So that's pretty cool. It really informed what we do now in these books. In the new series we're going to be launching in 27 called Strike Group, in the Clancy books. That eclectic experience of being in and around aviation, being in and around special operations, being in and around all the other things, communities, the Marines, definitely makes the work a little easier for the stuff that we write. That's for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that knowledge of base. I mean, so many great writers on the show that write in the sort of novel genres that you guys do. A lot of them come from military or sometimes police backgrounds, They do now, right? Yeah. Like when we were kids, though, it wasn't like that. Like Tom Clancy was an insurance salesman, right? Like this generation of writers, Don Bentley, Josh Hood, some of the people that we've listed that are going to be writing with us in the imprint, they bring a different perspective that makes it. Except Mark Cameron, right? Like he was a Marshal, right? U.S. Marshal. Yeah, there's a ton of that now, and I think it does bring something special to writing or to reading the books that are out there now in that genre, for sure. Brian, you want to give us your bio background?
Yeah, so I was a Blue Water Navy guy. I was with the submarine community on a fast attack submarine stationed in the Pacific. And so, my story sort of reads like a little bit like Hunt for Red October. I mean, I was reading Hunt for Red October and watching it on the TV in the wardroom while we're in the Pacific chasing around Russian submarines. So that was kind of ironic. But just an amazing community, silent service. The submarine community is sort of the workhorse of the Blue Water Navy that people don't know about. And they don't realize that there's submarines out there doing missions all the time because you can't see them and we don't talk about them. And so you see the carrier strike group. Everybody, that makes the news when it deploys, and we know when Arleigh Burkes shoot Tomahawks. We know when, planes conduct operations in the Middle East off of XYZ carrier. But what people don't know is that the submarines come in and they sort of prep the battlefield with collecting intelligence. And my ship happened to be the first salvo launched the first salvo in the Iraq War, of Tomahawks, and so. They're pretty incredible platform to think that you have, 100 to on my submarine we had 100 people living underwater for months at a time, just completely invisible to the rest of the world.
That's crazy, huh?
That's where I come from.
Yeah. I never thought about it, Brian, until you just said it, but that's, you mentioned how I have a cross connection over communities. You guys really do too, because now with the special mission boats, you're interfacing with intelligence constantly. You're interfacing with special warfare now because your delivery system for that, and you're doing intel gathering, ISR. Like you kind of cross all the big Navy, big Blue Water Navy, special operations, intel. You kind of do it all. Maybe I should have more respect for you than I do.
Oh wow!
I should work on that. I mean,
there's always. It is Christmas, so there is time for
joy and gratitude.
It is the season for generosity and,
there you go.
New epiphanies.
You might get a $25 gift this year instead of a $10 for Christmas. Yeah, might get the upgrade.
With a $25 Starbucks gift card, I could buy 2 coffees.
2 coffees. Me and my business partner years ago, we would always give each other expensive presents, and it just got out of fucking control after like 15 years. like at the end, we're just like, dude, I don't know. I'm gonna have to really adjust my monthly budget. We made a lot of money, and I'm like, maybe we should just minimize this. Like, I give you $100, and you give me $100 gifts, and we just kind of cap it because it's getting out of control. I mean, like I think one of the last years was like I wanted a whole back wing for my BMW, and he bought it.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember what I bought him, but yeah, it was getting real fucking out of control expensive. I'm like, we need to cap this, like family.
We don't have that problem.
No, ours is getting cheaper, right, Jeff?
Yeah, Brian doesn't even get the family Christmas card unless we're have an extra stamp. So
you just kind of write it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet.
Sometimes I'll send him a signed book, but it's his book too. So
here you go. Hope you do well. Let's see. Good luck in the future. So let's talk about the First Ranger short story book. Is this going to be a new series, or how does this work with this?
Well, I don't know if it'll be a new series, but what the idea is to kind of twofold. One is, in addition to the series that we talked about that we write, one of the other fun things that we do is we write short stories as intellectual property to try to develop into film or television. And so we have because of our eclectic backgrounds, we have a lot of interest in different types of stuff. And so, over the last 5 years or so, we've probably written 15 short stories, and we sort of were thinking, like, why don't we share these with people? Why do they have to just sit sort of like hidden? We love them, but why do we have to just sit and not share them? So we thought with the launch of the imprint, it'd be really fun to give our readers and fans sort of like more frequent content, because a lot of the emails we get are like, hey, when's the next book coming out? Can you guys write faster? And so this is kind of a way to make the wait seem a little more palatable.
And it also shows a different side of what we do, because, we're known for the military thrillers, and there's certainly some of that. First Ranger won't be a series, but what we do have is a series of shorts that's going to go out over the next year, about one a month on the months that we don't release a book. And like Brian said, each of these shorts were developed with film and television in mind, and the vast majority of them that you're going to be reading over the year are in development now for film and television. And so it's a fun way to share that side of the business, like Brian said, but it's also a way to share some of the other stuff we're interested in. Like, this is a historical thriller set in 1775 and 1776 that is the true story of Thomas Knowlton, who many would consider to be the father of special operations and akinetic warfare in the United States. So that was fun. But we also have some that are speculative, grounded, near future sci-fi, and we don't have any mommy porn romance, I don't think. But other than that, we have a little bit of different.
We have shots fired over here in the romance novel area.
We did a cover on April 1st 2 years ago. Brian, without even asking if I thought it was a good idea, he released a cover reveal on our social media. There was this seal with no shirt and a woman with her hand on it. It said operators need lovin' too. And what was the title of it?
The title was Cleared Hot.
Cleared Hot. Yeah. Cleared Hot. Operators need lovin' too. Coming soon from Anders and Wilson. And it was obviously a April Fool's prank. Yeah. But boy, did we get some emails. Oh my gosh.
Some people did not think it was a prank, because their response was like, okay, cool, guys. Like, looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Didn't think you'd branch out in this direction, but you guys are innovators.
Okay. We have a lot of those romance novels on. Those things sell like hotcakes. They love beach reads, they call them. And they can read them pretty fast. But yeah, they are basically romance porn. It's I've interviewed enough of them, and what's funny is they're so rubber stamped too. They're like, but they make interesting characters, and people love that stuff. So
yeah,
everyone's got their flavor. But yeah, that would be funny if you guys ran a thread going that way.
We'll find that cover and send it to you privately, not to be shared on the show.
Well, you guys put it online.
We did send it. Yeah, that's true. It's been.
Let the world have it. I'm sure someone's going to screenshot.
You can do whatever you want with it. Maybe
you guys remember when people used to do really good April Fool's post and jokes before everything got, too woke and too afraid of retribution and stuff. But there were some good ones. Like, I remember I got tricked by Google. They had one where it's like they talked about Google Mars, and they were going to start training up astronauts because Google was going to build and travel to Mars. I was like, this is so cool. I can't believe they're going to do this. Should I apply? It was fake.
Yeah, it used to be kind of a big deal, and then I think people just got two big deals, and then when it backfired hard. I think that was, and then nowadays with AI, every day is
every day is April Fool's.
Like I have to sit every time I watch a video. I got to be like, is that AI? Is that AI? Is that real? My mom, she started bringing me TikToks and Instagram reels of huskies because I like huskies. And she'd bring them to me, and I'd be like, oh, Mom, I've seen that, but that is fake. She goes, they're so cute. How come your dogs aren't that cute? I'm like, that's fake, Mom. That's AI. And she's like, how can you tell? And it's just amazing how many people are getting fooled by AI right now. And it's not even as great as it will be.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So this first Ranger, is there a character in here we want to feature or talk about?
Well, Thomas Knowlton. So Thomas Knowlton, the true story of Thomas Knowlton is, by 1776, as one might imagine, when you're a small group of ragtag colonists fighting the massive empire of the UK, things were not going all that great. And it turned out that you line up in red and we'll line up in blue. And then when you say go, we'll shoot at each other, was not really working in our favor. And so, you have to understand, and I think you do, Chris, but your listeners have to understand that in 1776, warfare was a gentlemanly thing, and there were things that were ungentlemanly that you just simply couldn't do. Wow. And so when George Washington in real life called Colonel Knowlton, Thomas Knowlton, into his tent and said, I want you to do something akinetic. I want you to help us win this war by making this an asymmetric battle. He was basically talking about special operations. They were going to be intelligence gathering. They were going to be spies, which was very ungentlemanly. They were going to do false flag operations. They were going to do things that would have seemed disgusting to both sides at that time in history. Wow. And that was truly the birth of special operation. No spoilers for those that don't know the historical things. I don't want to ruin the story for you if you don't know it, but how it turns out for Thomas Knowlton is a fascinating and good story. But it truly is, on the patch of the Rangers, it says 1775. That's why. That's when it really started. Akinetic special operations began with Thomas Knowlton back in that war. And so we take him from meeting George Washington, getting the call, meeting George Washington, up through his major engagements and setting up snipers. Snipers, that's not okay. That's very ungentlemanly. You're going to shoot someone from a distance, and an officer, no less. Oh my God, it's a really interesting period in history, and I think we were able to set it in a story that reads like an Anderson Wilson novel and has got some excitement and some suspense. So we're excited to hear what people think about it. We've already started to get a little bit of feedback because it just came out and people seem to like it. But it was really fun to write something that was, to dramatize but be historically accurate and add the suspense was really fun for us.
Brian, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, no, I think he hit all the high points. The only thing I might add that sort of occurred to me when we were working on it is like, if you imagine I think you tend to look down, as a modern warrior with the tools of modern warfare, we tend to look back in time and say, well, why didn't they just do it differently? And it seems like it's so rudimentary. And then you start digging into it and you're like, okay, well, actually they did the best with the tools they had at the time. And so I sort of went down the whole bunny hole of, muskets and rifles and their accuracy. And if Knowlton wanted to stand up a sniper corps, how would he do it? And there was quite a bit of variability between musket makers. So you had, these were all handmade, especially in the colonies. So you had David Ames, who's a musket manufacturer, and he's known for making a high quality musket or a high quality rifle. And if you have one from somebody else, it might be a piece of junk. And so there were all kinds of tricks and things, just trying to increase the rate of fire. And so one of the things that in real life happened is that there was a Scottish officer in the British Army who invented a breech loading musket. Now think about it. This is revolutionary, and he had a crank with a screw plug that would lower, and you could load your musket ball and powder into the breech and close it without having to ramrod it down there. And this is a technology. We know that, necessity is the mother of invention. I think World War II is one of the greatest, proving grounds for that, all the different military advancements. And so we work that into the story too, that, okay, this rifle, this step change in firearms technology, appeared during the Revolutionary War. And what if that rifle had been mass produced? I think the Americans would have lost, right? So anyway, so there's all kinds of little nuance in the story when you realize that, these guys were just as courageous. In fact, probably had a lot more mettle than the average American today, because they weren't paid for fighting. They didn't have shoes and socks. They were always starving. The weather was terrible. The sacrifices and the things that these soldiers put themselves through, their bodies through, is sort of unfathomable, I think, today.
Yeah. And then back then, you stub your toe and you can die of,
right.
Like infection. Like, you get a little cut and you're dead. You're like, oh, shit, there went the neighborhood. You get like a hangnail. And did you guys, now this is a historical fiction novel or historical accurate novel? How do you categorize this?
Somewhere, we took a lot of liberties.
Yeah, we took liberties with the storytelling, but it is definitely based on true events. And the events, I would say this: the events that we write about are true. We weren't there, so we don't know if the dialogue is accurate, but and we don't know the relationships and stuff. So we definitely took some license to bring it to life. So I think calling it historical fiction would be accurate. We definitely took some license, but the people in the story are real, all of them, and we made some assumptions, but I think we probably made some accurate assumptions on those relationships. So,
did you guys cover?
Nolan didn't keep any journals or write any letters, and
really?
that have been at least discovered. And so when we were researching it, what we found is here's this true American hero. That all the sort of his life and service is all anecdotal. There's never been a definitive book on the guy. There's been, a gazillion books on Washington, and Washington was a prolific letter writer. So some of the only little pieces of details that we know about Nolan come from, one or two of Washington's letters, and just some, a few historians that have sort of put some markers in the ground about, okay, well, Knowlton was at, served at Breed's Hill, and he was under command of, so-and-so at the time, and just sort of placing Knowlton's locations over the 1775 to 76 period. And then what we did, I think this is why we thought the project was so fun, is that we sat down and sort of talked about, okay, well, what would it be like? How would Washington recruit him? And so Jeff and I sort of like almost play acted what that scene would look like. It was super fun. Anyway.
And warriors are warriors, operators are operators.
Yeah.
Your time in service, my time in service, Brian's, the way it is in the wardroom, the way it is in the chow hall. My guess is it was pretty much the same 500 years ago. I mean, I think that the brotherhood of camaraderie that exists amongst warriors is relatively unchanged. And so we worked a lot of that in, like we do in all of our books. Those relationships are really the key to the whole thing. So
I can see the first question George Washington would probably ask him, hey, you ever cut down any cherry trees?
Don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me.
Do my teeth look yellow?
Do these teeth look like wood? Tell me, because the girls are talking. Anyway, I don't know. But did you guys cover, since you're covering the Revolutionary War, President 2019 featured, that battle where the Continental Army took over the airports. Remember that? Did you guys cover that in the book?
Yeah, it's a short story, so we probably would have gotten more into it if we were longer. So.
They were still perfecting the drone technology back then. They didn't quite have it down. They need a couple of years more in research and development. But they were trying to. It's really. Let me ask you that real quick. I know we're running a little long, but let me ask you this: how is it? How is it? Is it challenging to keep up with the technology now? They got like new they've got new drone planes, I guess, coming out that I saw some stuff on. They don't even require an operator sitting in a box in Vegas. They're just, they're on their own thing going there.
We're really lucky for two reasons. One, being veterans and being just curious people, professional students of contemporary warfare and geopolitics, we read about it anyway. And so we're all just professionally reading and keeping ourselves in the loop. But the other thing that has been good for us is sort of a combination of two things. One, we have plenty of friends that are still out there on the pointy tip. And so we have those assets that we can reach out to. Nice. And then because we got to write these 3 books in the Ryan verse for the Clancy estate, we sort of built our career, Chris, on audacity. So when we got that first call, we reached out to the Navy and said, you should give us unfettered access to everything that we want to see. And here's why. And we want to honor the Navy. We're Navy veterans, and our mission is your mission. And somebody said, yeah, they're right. So the chief of naval operations sent out a letter saying, show these guys what they want to see. And so we were able to get not just to see things that we needed for the books that we wrote. We went out to see on Virginia class submarines, and we went out on the Ford, the newest carrier, and we did Brian got his first carrier landing in a COD, and we flew the F-18 simulator. We did all of that stuff. But what we mostly did that was of value was we established really good relationships with subject matter experts, either serving currently or having just served, that have that cutting edge view. And they have remained connections for us. And so in this book, The Adversary, we reached out to some folks. And in the next book that's going to come out, we reached out to some folks that we made relationships with through those Navy connections and the Clancy estate. So we always have that ability to find out what's the new and most exciting. And if you look at the open source stuff and then bug your friends a little bit, you can fictionalize things in a powerful way that are probably close to where we are technologically.
Yeah, technologically. So guys, give us a final pitch out for people to check out the book, sort up all the stuff, and check out your .coms, et cetera, as we go out.
So yeah, our website is anders-wilson.com. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you will get a free copy of Sons of Valor. So that's new. We just rolled that out. So that'll get you a taste of the type of stories that we tell and get you started on that series. We don't share or trade your information. So if you do sign up, rest assured it stays with us. We won't spam you. We just give you new release details as part of the Tier 1 family. Our social medias, same thing, Anders and Wilson, or Anders-Wilson for social media. And Jeff, what else do we want to say? Just
that's it. Look,
Happy New Year.
we have like three books coming out next year. Is it 3 next year? We released 4 books this year. I think there's 3 next year. So just follow us on the website. Like he said, we don't send you a newsletter every other day. You get one every couple of months, just when there's real things going on. But that's the best way to find what's coming. We got 3 books coming out, but we also have these short stories coming almost monthly on the non-release date. So best way to keep on top of it and get the links to get to those things is there. But we have a fun website because the fans interact there. They send pictures, and I think it's kind of a fun place to be. There's a lot of information about our film and television stuff there. So it's sort of the one-stop shop.
The one-stop shop. Well, guys, it's been wonderful to have you on. Did we get the .coms there?
Yes, Anders-Wilson.com. That's the only one.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you guys had your own socials or anything, but thanks for coming on the show, guys. We really appreciate you guys being here. We'll look forward to having you on for your next guys' work. And you're done with the Tom Clancy series then. There's no more forthcoming books.
None from us. Yeah, that was a really hard decision, like we talked about. But yeah, no more for us. But the series will live on, I'm sure. They've got some great writers following in our footsteps. I know the next one's coming out from actually a good friend of ours. I don't know if is it out now? Are we supposed to talk about that book? It's not out.
It's not out yet, but it's pre-orderable.
Yeah, Ward Larson is writing the next Jack Ryan book. So
well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Chris, we always like talking to you, man. And now be careful saying our next project. You don't really want to have us on once a month, right? Like that's.
You're welcome to. We have some writers like you. I swear they're on every month or every third month. They got all the threads that you guys have, and And the craziness, I think there's some that they pump like every 3 months or something. And they just book the show. Like they'll book the show a year out. And I'm like, what's going on there? And they're like, oh, we're going to have a book out then. And I'm like, you can stick to a plan.
We're a little more kinetic.
We'll come back. Tell you what, next time we come back, we'll bring a friend. We'll bring one of the other AWE authors.
Yeah,
sure.
Don Bentley or Josh.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Did you say Don Henley? Who did you say?
Don Bentley.
Bentley.
Yeah, he writes the Mitch Rapp.
You can bring
series
Don
now.
Henley if you want. I love the
Sure.
Eagle.
Maybe he come.
You might have to book that one, Chris.
I'll try. He just, I don't know. He just says, I don't know, call Stevie Nicks and bother her. That's a Don Henley, Stevie Nicks joke if you don't know the inside story on that one. Inside Straight. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate having you. But yeah, please come as often as you like. And you guys are pumping out so much great stuff. And we'll look forward to seeing it, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anything we can ever do for you, Chris? Appreciate you.
I'll talk to you after about loaning me some money.
You got it.
Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. Order up the books wherever fine books are sold and get the wonderful series they have there. The Adversary, the Tier 1 thrillers out November 4th, 2025, and their audiobook as well. First Ranger short stories. Check that out. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, boys, we'll have this up on the show in